Welcome again to the magical and crazy and often chaotic and quite surprisingly horrific World of Darkness. We go ahead and start the scene in the heart of the Cairn of the Sept of the Green, where a few of the children of Gaia and one particular Shadow Lord has decided to gather around a bit of a what would you call it? A campfire. Yes, a campfire. For those of you who have just entering, we are starting the scene in the heart of the Cairn around a campfire, much like the setting that was last night. Alan, for his part, is simply sitting on an overturned log next to the campfire. He seems to be somewhat deep in thought, as if he's trying to make a few decisions for himself.
My eyes.
And the Shadow Lord over there is currently rubbing his eyes as if he was on fire.
Oh, sorry, contacts.
Out of character, you guys mind if I pop in, or is this a
Jump
private
in!
one,
It's an
or...
open scene!
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Ren is curled up by the fire, drinking a bottle of water. Ready, quiet, supportive.
Two paths would approach not so quietly, obviously not attempting to sneak up on you guys or anything. Hey guys.
Good evening, Two-Path.
How's everything tonight?
Pretty calm, pretty cool, pretty collected.
Mind if I join you guys?
No, go ahead.
Please do.
Take a seat close to the fire.
So no wedding?
Seems to have been pushed back a little bit, but I wouldn't count it canceled quite yet.
Is Leah okay?
Leah's better. Much better.
Good.
Her sister freaked out a little bit, though.
Can't really blame her.
Wait, I was gone. What the hell happened? I haven't heard about this.
Oh, marriage of one of the kinfolk to one of the Garu.
Yeah. Vale, right?
Yes.
Vale's wedding?
Yes.
What happened? He's not getting married anymore?
Well, there was a complication a few days ago. Apparently, Val got himself into a little bit of trouble and was punished. And,
A little.
well, I wasn't present, so I can't really say.
What did he do?
Punched one of the punched one of the Garu, actually. Interrupting
During a challenge.
Challenge, yes.
Just growls a little bit at this, even in Hamid. Vale needs to learn his place.
Morning
Well-
Kill is pretty on it.
Yes, Morning Kill is a very on it elder.
I was actually there. It was, yeah, it wasn't pretty. I'll give Vale one thing though. I'll actually give him one thing. It was a hell of a punch.
It was a hell of a punch, unfortunately.
I've seen Vale in action. I watched him spar against Antonio one time. He gave Antonio a pretty good thumping. I enjoyed it greatly.
Just thought I'd throw that out there because I do appreciate a good punch.
Fortunately, it was just a punch and no thumping.
Well, Vale's lucky to
Badly
be
timed.
Vale's lucky to be alive at all. That type of shit could definitely get somebody killed interrupting a challenge.
That's true. That's true. Um, Leo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Leo, if you were the presiding Philodox after that little bit of a complication, what kind of punishment or discipline would you prescribe?
There's always multiple factors to take into accordance. Mainly past history, is this a first event or whatnot? But for kinfolk, I probably would have done about the same as Morning Kill did.
Hmm.
Morning Kill's a wise Philodox. It's a shame he wasn't born the right side of the shadow.
Honestly, I would have let Dragos. Personally, I would have let Dragos do some punishing in response.
Well, he certainly does have the opportunity. Val will be working directly under him.
When it comes to kinfolk, jeopardizing their safety is not really a good idea, even if it is well deserved. Kinfolk these days are becoming more and more of a rare commodity, especially for the Furies.
And if there wasn't a point in protecting them, we wouldn't have rules against them butting in.
Rules to keep them safe as much as us and everybody else.
Absolutely.
I'm
Just pointing
sorry.
out that I said some justice, not death.
I'm sorry. I've been lost in thought. I don't think we've actually met. You are... He gives a sniff towards you. You're new, aren't you?
Yes, sir. My name's Ren. Sometimes I'm called Moonface. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm a child of Gaia, Philodox.
And your parents? He looks at you suspiciously as you are leaving this out.
She stares at him for a long minute, and the blood's kind of draining from her face.
You asked about her lineage. You asked about her parentage. Ha! Children of Gaia. We're all children of Gaia.
I understand then. I'm Leopold Dalka, known to Grandfather Thunder and the nation as the Swift Hand of Justice. I was born under the Judge's moon on 2 legs. See, that's how you do a full introduction, properly.
The blood goes back into her face. Now she's flushing very hard. She just kind of looks away.
Well, it's good to have another of our moon here. This place needs all the level-headedness that it could get. So what brings you here, Ren?
I have been accepted to Columbia. I'm studying law in the fall.
Good for you.
Thank you.
I'm actually looking...
A lawyer is something that some of us occasionally need. Kind of looks at Leo.
Yeah. Well, need and present are 2 different things, I suppose.
How did that go, by the way?
Easy as pie, my friend. In and out in 10 minutes.
Use any of my ideas there?
I told him that we were doing an investigative report, independently financed.
So, sort of yes, sort of no.
I asked them if they had any information to share, if I shared any of my information. Fools declined me.
That's right. You did talk about a warehouse that a bunch of the power thirst was being stored at.
I wonder if there's any relation.
Right? and we have a technical difficulty.
Two Paths kind of looks at Alan. Wonder if there's a relation.
It probably is. Waiting for the judge's response.
Out of character for a second. Sorry, guys. My wife needed to ask me a question about the car. What am I responding to?
Basically, Alan said to you, yes. Something about a warehouse full of power thirst, an address in Queens, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And Two Paths looked at Alan and said, I wonder if there's a relation.
Of course, there's a relation.
That's right. Oh, wait a minute. Relation to what? Did you guys pull something up?
We had an
something.
incident.
We came across some information. One of our kinfolk did about a shipment of weapons that was being transferred, or at least a delivery of some sort to an address in Brooklyn. Actually, we thought it would be something heavy, like ammunition. So we went ahead and took a look at it. We took a look at it because it was related to geodyne. Do you know what geodyne is?
What do you think? Intelligence streetwise?
Fair enough.
If my dice will like to load. Dice? Hello? Hi, dice. Hi.
Hold on, Alan.
Hmm?
Alan. I tend to remember when Leo was telling his story the other day that he mentioned something about a different group that was also related to this. Something called the Apes of Wall Street.
That's the story I'm getting to, my good dear Two-Pass. You're a warrior, not a storyteller.
Nice. Out of character, I got two, so I guess I would have heard of them, but probably not know everything.
Basically, the gist of it is that they are a new technology firm that has sit themselves in New York.
Okay. Yeah, some sort of new. They're what? Tech, right?
A tech and a little bit more, actually. Their greatest accomplishment happens to be catching an asteroid or a meteorite. I have no idea the astrological terms, but catching it in orbit and just keeping it in a geosynchronous orbit over the city at the moment.
Over the
Well,
city.
that can't be fucking good. So they just have an asteroid hanging out over the city.
And they put shit on it.
Huh.
Okay, am I the only one here who played Final Fantasy VII?
No.
Final Fantasy what? No, just joking. Yes.
From what we can tell,
So what is their
Um,
CEO fucking Sephiroth? What the fuck is going on here?
actually their CEO is a guy named Alexander Greenlee, actually. But he's a ghost more than anything else. We're not even sure if the persona actually exists. It's a lot of fabricated documents, a lot of stuff that accidentally got lost, like an entire orphanage that burned down.
Yeah,
That's unfortunate.
this can't be good.
No. Well, we got a few of our kinfolk actually infiltrating that organization, and they fed us back some information about this shady warehouse where something was being transferred to. So we decided to take a look. A few of our glass walkers, actually, Roach's Resilience and Rages Against the Storm, you might know them as Emmett Wilson and Zeke.
I haven't met
decided
Zeke
to-
yet, but I know Emmett.
Yep. They decided to take a look at any of the surveillance that was around there. Because here's the thing, we figured that if the documentation we got was correct, that if the CIA, the FBI, if the Federal Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms divisions, if they were all looking at this this abandoned warehouse, well, we would pick up some of the FBI surveillance systems and we would tap in there to see exactly what was going on. We didn't find that. What we found was a bunch of surveillance equipment that had geodyne technology just written all over it out in the open, watching the warehouse.
Huh.
Got us
Wait a
a
minute.
little bit by surprise. We don't know.
Watching the warehouse, or
Yes,
the watching around the warehouse.
watching the warehouse.
That's weird.
Yeah, apparently whoever was using this Geodyne equipment was surveilling and watching over that warehouse. And when we found them, well, we found the cameras that was pointed at their walls. The people that was supposed to be watching the machines was gone. And we quickly came to the realization that the two people that had been stationed up on that roof watching down the warehouse had been kidnapped and strung up in the warehouse.
Strung up?
Strung up.
Were they retrieved?
Not enough
And
information at the
when my
moment.
question's asked, a growl can be heard audibly from 2 paths.
Continue the story a little bit. That will get answered in a little bit. They were not retrieved. They were not our agents. They were not our people. We did not feel moved to walk into a situation we did not know enough about. Simply because, on the other side, apparently the warehouse was manned by a few people, not entirely all there. We were able to listen in to a few of their communications, their cell phones, and what we found was at the other end of that communication was a payphone in Manhattan. So we got really confused then.
There's still payphones in Manhattan?
I know.
What's a payphone?
So
I'm kidding.
This is what we sort of found out for ourselves.
Hold on. I think I'm gonna need a beer for this. I'll be right back. Anybody else want one?
No.
Sure.
Stay here. I got to get the end of the story.
It gets more interesting, trust me.
From what I can tell, you're going to have to talk to Zeke, because Zeke was the one to actually see the man at the other end of the payphone. But I believe that the Ape from Wall Street may have something to do or something against the Geodyne Corporation. Maybe they're not. Maybe their goals and interests aren't exactly aligned as much as they think, or at least they thought. I don't know. I do not know enough about the Apes of Wall Street, nor do I know enough about the Geodyne and its corporate structure to give you an accurate estimate.
This sounds like Glasswalker work to me.
It does.
Mm.
At the end of the day, we simply did not know enough about that warehouse to make an informed decision to actually stage an operation. And that decision was made by the riot in that situation, which was Travis Moran, bears witness.
I agreed with it to a degree, but I still disagreed vehemently with the calling in of the cops.
In order to try to, the most that we could think of to do in that situation was try to call the authorities, try to call the cops. We used a second-hand person. The right hand doesn't even know what the left hand is doing.
Mm.
But even with the evidence that was presented to the authorities, to the police, they did nothing. Absolutely jack and diddly.
Did I just overhear something about Geodyne? Because Sid is always talking about that.
You'll have to ask her about the latest operation that we did for a address in Brooklyn.
Hi, Leah.
Hey.
Ren raises a hand to wave to Leah.
Whatever was going on, the people that are involved are quite influential enough to curb stomp any police involvement.
There's authorities beyond the police that will look into this.
Hey, Leo.
Leo pulls out his notebook and starts writing some stuff in it.
Hey, Leo.
Yeah?
No, Leo.
Oh no, we knew this was going to happen. We said it the very first session I showed up in.
Yep. Doesn't matter. Just kinfolk. I'm not important.
Of course you are.
I look up. I hold up a hand real quick as I'm sketching, as I'm writing stuff, and I flip it. I flip the notebook closed. What?
Can you give us a little bit more of an insight into these? Because I don't know who else to ask besides you, because you're the first one I heard of them from. Can you give us a little more insight into these so-called apes of Wall Street?
What I was told was that when Jagos went down there and did a bunch of stupidity, from the sounds of it, they showed up, looked at him, and somehow nullified his gifts. They stopped the magics that he was working with, some sort of force or something. When I looked at them with my shaman's eye, as it were, I didn't see anything of them. They seemed to be just mortals to me. So they're either very, very good at hiding who they are, or they're wielding something that they shouldn't have. Either way, there's definitely something not good with them, especially since they're overseeing this power thirst thing, which, by my honor, I swear I will prove is worm.
Easy enough to go ahead and walk to one of the shelves. Easy enough to bring it back to Aether. It's easy enough to get it tested.
All right.
I think there's gotta be more than that.
Gets up and goes to his bike, which he would have parked not so far away. So I am out for a couple of minutes while I run to the fridge and.
Fair enough.
And I'm gonna run to I'm gonna go get that beer now. Again, anybody else?
Yeah, I would actually love a beer.
Yeah, give me a beer too.
All right, I'll be right back. I'm just running to my fridge. I'll be right back.
Literal beer.
Like we expect to have anything.
Well, I've walked right into the middle of interesting times.
Should have been around here a month ago. Those were really interesting times.
What are we talking about? Storm Eater?
Yeah, we're talking about Geodine, we're talking about the Apes of Wall Street, we're talking about Power Thirst.
Oh no, I just meant what you said a month ago was interesting times. What were you referring to?
Oh yeah, the Storm Eater.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was interesting.
Interesting doesn't quite seem strong enough a word.
Well, how about unbelievably nerve-wracking and huddled together for not necessarily just war and for a reassurance that tomorrow it would be a new day and not one of a hellish horror where the Umbra was stricken and broken in twine and the worm's worst manifestations proceeded to walk the city streets.
And that was just the fears, because I actually got to see the future. 2 different ones. You know, the if we lost futures. So.
It's true. Some of our kinfolk did see visions of the future that were not bright.
That sounds harrowing.
It wasn't visions. We actually went to them.
I am not an ST.
Honestly, just call it. We don't really care. Go 5-10 minutes, whatever.
Yeah.
We'll speed time up if we must. It's okay.
Yep.
Let's just say that the future, if we had lost, was pretty bleak. It was pretty nasty and very, very unpleasant.
Those
And
who died
above,
lived.
well, those who lived wish they had died in many ways, I think.
As Leo returns, the sound of a dirt bike can be heard returning, pulling up to almost directly to the campfire. It is a pretty well modified street legal dirt bike. And on the back is 2 paths with a bag with 3 bottles of this crap in a bag, which he's holding the handles by with like 2 fingers.
Okay,
Right.
go take those to a theurge.
Yeah, now all we need is a crescent.
There you go.
Just shoves it in the saddlebag of the bike for the moment.
No, I don't see any. I don't see any theurges on either. Unfortunate.
That's why I stuck it in the saddlebag for the moment.
Actually, who is Anthony Jerome Brown Baxter?
You're not gonna get him.
He plays Conti.
Oh, I don't think I've met him yet. No.
I'll just give it over to. Yeah, I know somebody I'll give it to. Neniko, and I have a scene with her.
Go.
You think the actual drink is poisoned? Tainted?
The drink is so gosh darn sugary and sweet and just utterly disgusting.
I've
That's not
heard of
something you want to put in your mouth.
Banes or the like being interwoved with candies and other such things, video games before. We've uncovered stuff back at my home sept that would turn Blitzkrieg white.
Better to find more Gaian and fresher solutions. Swift-handed justice.
Yeah.
I have a question to put for you.
Oh God.
Not a bad one. It's just a general interest one. I was tasked to go ahead and try to find stories of each and every tribe, and each and every tribe certainly has its different themes when it comes to their stories, but I have to ask you a question, because this is something that I'm not too familiar with. The Shadow Lords. How are they different with their politics and their dominance? These 2 words just seem to spring up every single time somebody starts a story with me.
How are we different with our politics and our dominance? Well, I suppose there is always the fact that we're one of the few tribes who actually know how to do both correctly.
Explain.
Absolutely zero offense to you, Alan Yuff. But I don't know if I could. And I don't know if I should.
Let me say this. You be doing me a wonderful favor and boon by just telling me a story about it. If you have one.
You want to hear one of our stories, huh?
Yes. I'm actually very interested.
MA, give me a perception alertness real quick, please. Diff 7.
Sorry, I'm slow with the dice program still.
Well, hurry up. Get better.
Wow, slap, slap.
Don't do what he says. Don't do what he says.
What do we got there? Ooh, that's a botch. You think I'm looking at you see me, my eyes flash real quick, but you think I'm looking at Leah because why not? That's the best I can do. All right, I've got a story. There was a black fury, Metis, had horns and hooves like that of a satyr when he was in his war form. His name was Valerio Satyrson. And he had this great dream of trying to organize the outcast Metis and create a new tribe or a new camp called New Sparta. And the Margrave at the time embraced this idea and offered the Fury entrance to his home, and he discussed it at length, the plans of this new Sparta, with Satyrson, and he helped them. He put them on the right path to gather up the strongest and most profoundly amazing of all the Metis from all the tribes. Word spread. Word spread quick of what Valerio Satyrson was doing, and soon enough he had, through much funding and support from my tribe and the Margrave in particular, he had his new Sparta. And when the ritual to really bind all of them together was to take place, the Margrave offered up his own personal house, the Shadowkeep, for the ritual to take place at, as a sign of good faith. And they gathered all of them, 100+ Metis, in the grand courtyard of the Shadowkeep. And when Satyrson stood up and made his grand speech of a new Sparta, the strength of the outcast saving the masters who threw them out, warriors appeared on the walls and opened fire.
A long, long sigh comes out of Alan's mouth.
And purified the tribes of many Metis.
Thank you
Or
for this.
at least that's how I heard it. I am no Galliard.
Ren stares at the fire. She doesn't say anything. And she definitely doesn't stare at Leo.
And Leo looks like she's trying to hide her feelings on the subject, but she also won't look at Leo either.
Alan,
I'm
for
sure.
your part, just
You can set Black Fury on her.
Oh yeah, I know she is.
And on two paths.
Yeah, I know he is.
Alan does not change his position. Alan remains confident. Alan is still looking at you. The only sign of emotion that you felt from him was that long sigh just before the line and the warriors appeared on the walls.
Yeah.
There's no visible reaction from two paths at all.
Alan
He's
just
still
goes ahead
paying
and
attention to Leopold and his story.
Alan goes ahead and looks to him and says, "Anything else?"
That's the best I got for you as far as my stories go.
Very well. I do
I'm
thank
not.
you for it.
Oh, you're
Do you mind-
welcome.
Do you mind if I retell it?
With my blessings.
Thank you. I will use this for my challenge.
Oh, you're in the midst of a challenge?
Yes.
Are you going for fostering?
Yes, I am, my good Leo.
Good.
Good luck.
The
I
Den
went-
Father should be more than a Cliath. And I'd say you've earned it. You've shown me, you've honored me with your kind words and cool ahead more than once. I hope I hope you get it in swift time.
My renown was far greater than the requirements to gain the rank of Falstern. I have been within the nation for 7 odd years, which gives me a astounding amount of experience to give to the new cubs. That's why that's why I grabbed the Din Father position.
Well, it's good you're finally getting your dues.
It is.
If it is good for the nation, if it is good for the Sept, then it is good.
Then it is good. And, oh, shit. I'm sorry. Here. He's kind of just been standing there the entire time. He hands out the beers. And he cracks his, and if it is good, he raises his beer.
Clink.
May it happen soon. So, Alan,
Mhm.
I've been hearing a rumor floating around, and somebody pointed me in your direction.
Mhm.
I understand that you have a pack, and I understand that you guys might be slightly lacking in a rune.
Yes, I am the beta of the Memento Mori pack. Our alpha is the Lupus, the Silverfang, Lupus, the Urge, Clyeth, Snow, or Falls Like Snow, or Son of Avalanche. Matters not which name, just what it is.
I
We
am
also-
seeking a pack.
Then I would have you go ahead and petition any of our number. I have not seen you in combat, but if you want to run with us, you can run with us, and we can see just how you fit in.
I would be honored. Thank you.
Go and the members of our pack include Sophia Night Eyes, the Black Fury Theurge, Falstern at the moment. It also includes Roach's Resilience, Zeke, as you know him. You have worked with him before.
Yes?
It includes myself. It includes Antonio, actually. You've had to face off with him a few times before. He is the Bonar Ragabash.
We have had we've met Eyes, and I helped calm him down for a short period of time before certain unfortunate words were spoken, and his calm was broken.
Hmm.
He incorrectly said that he did not have much in this world. He listed off a number of things, and I informed him that no, he was wrong. He had us as well.
Fair enough, fair enough.
That seemed to calm him down before other words were spoken.
Mm.
Run with them. Talk with them. See if they accept you. Also, our totem is Merlin. Do you know of Merlin?
No, I do not.
Merlin is a proud bird totem of the Silverfang stock, actually. He is the one of bravery. He is the one that spurs you on to fight intelligently. And he is one that is, well, he is the one that champions lost causes. If
And
you
what
find
would
yourself working well with them, if you find yourself working well under the totem, I see no reason why not to bring you in.
Have you spoke with
and
Xavier?
Xavier? Which one's Xavier?
Xavier Blazier.
Hmm.
He's apparently starting a pack for under Black Unicorn.
Oh, Knights of the Black Mane or some sort of name like that.
Indeed. I'm thinking about that one myself. But then again, I'm not sure if a judge should be packed.
I'm not sure that a judge of doom such as yourself would work well under a black uniform.
What do you mean by that, Alan?
Well, let me ask you this. Do you feel yourself drawn to protect the weak? Do you feel yourself drawn to champion those causes? Each totem has a unique personality to it. Each pack has a unique personality to it as well. I joined under Merlin simply because, well, at that time, I did feel that I was part of a lost cause.
Black Unicorn has always been a champion of justice. I am a champion of justice.
He is also a champion of defending the weak. Could you find yourself defending the weak?
He takes a drink of his beer. Most are weak and need defending. It's what we do as a species, isn't it? Defend the weak.
Well said.
Thank you.
I myself come from a particular camp of the Children of Gaia that says we ought to shepherd and herd humanity towards more Gaian ideals and Gaian causes to help restore the balance. Bring back some of Gaia's old memories into the reality and not have them stuck in the penumbra.
I could definitely think of a few of Gaia's old memories that would be very fitting these days.
Which ones?
Let's just say there was a time when, I know I use the word a lot, but there was a time where justice was a lot easier to dispense, and cowards were were much harder to hide.
You are not talking about the Dawn Age, are you?
I don't know what I'm talking about. He takes a drink.
You seem rather conflicted, my brother.
How so?
Well, you often start answers, but you never quite finish them. You were quite bold and quite blunt with your story, however, some of your answers are circumspect. Or am I just reading too much into it?
I've had a bad week, Alan. I think you might just be reading too much into it.
Ren sits up a little and changes the subject. She says, I think Black Unicorn is a difficult person for a Shadow Lord to follow. In general, your cleverness with your tongues is not always Unicorn's favorite tactic.
My brothers and I are very unlike the rest of my tribe. But, again, this is why there's wisdom in what you say. And this is why I am in a quandary if I should even pack up at all. Given my, position and all.
This is true. You find yourself in a very, very difficult position of being one that has to judge on pretty much everyone and everything. That must be a heavy position to have.
And lonely.
Not as lonely as one might think. I've made friends. It's not all bad. We're not all though at least those who aren't completely ignorant to my camp. Out of character, Alan will get that barb.
Yep.
We're not as bad as everybody thinks. We're merely here to try and keep this nation as strong as possible.
Okay, I have a question for you, Leopold. It's the third or fourth time I've heard mention you speaking of this camp of yours. I must admit I've never heard of them, and I don't think I've ever even seen one before.
That's good.
And meaning no disrespect due to ignorance, can you tell us some more about your camp, or is that more of an internal thing that you don't want to talk about?
Internal, I think, is the most apropos way to describe us at all. The Judges of Doom are more or less the internal affairs of the Guru Nation.
Okay.
When those, especially those in higher power, who are untouchable by some, start rending the litany and bending it to their will, we arrive to make sure that people know that the litany is the strongest part of our nation. And it is the backbone, the trunk of the tree, whatever analogy or metaphor you wish to use. But it is not to be bent, broken, or played with, mucked about with. When the litany is broken so egregiously that we need to intervene, that is when you see us.
Well, then, with absolutely no disrespect intended, why are you here?
It's a good question. I myself am trying to figure it out. I might not need to be here at all.
But we're better to keep an eye on the affairs of the world than New York, right?
Well,
Welcome to the Big Apple.
let's just say there's also been a lot of goings on here in a very short period of time that somebody of a higher station than myself deemed necessary to be at least observed. And so I'm here.
Fair enough.
Well, we hope to give whatever higher up that you're currently reporting to a good story to take back.
I don't give good or bad stories. I only tell the truth as I see it, Alan.
I think
You are blessed like that.
I may be a lot of things, Alan, but I'm not a liar.
Ren is actually smiling at this point, though it's kind of hard to tell who she's smiling at. Well, she's
Ew.
smiling at her knees, but
Can I rock a perception empathy on that to see if it's like a yeah fucking right smile or if she's actually smiling?
oh, you don't even need to. She's definitely actually smiling.
Oh, okay,
There's no
cool,
smugness there.
nice.
Leopold? I do hope one thing, that me and you did not get off on the wrong foot when we first met. You seem to be from what I've seen in my limited interaction with you, you seem to be a pretty stand-up guy. And from what I can see and what you've explained, you seem to be able to take a good idea and run with it on occasion.
Well, thank you. And well, let's just say you met me at a very strange time, Two Paths. I never did get a chance to thank you, though.
Thank you.
What you did was foolish, but I completely respect what it was.
Which, the standing in the paths of those who might fight?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, sometimes the... I don't even know how to explain it, honestly. Just felt like it was something that it was needed, and because I wasn't part of a pack or wasn't part of the set for very long, I guess maybe I just felt like people needed a different face looking at them when they were angry at somebody else. I don't know how to explain it, really. Yeah.
So what happened? I look at it because you two were there. What happened after I left? Anything interesting? Did my ears seem to be ringing a little bit? I'm sure
Antonio.
yeah, Antonio was singing my praises, as it were.
Kylie showed up. And
Yeah. I remember the arrow sticking out of me.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think there was much more after that. I think after Kylie made her displeasure known to me about what I was doing, I think she left pretty quickly after that.
Don't tell me that Travis leading me away killed the party.
Yeah, I don't think there was much more after that.
Oh, I look at you and Alan then like, well, I'm sorry, gentlemen. I didn't mean to be a buzzkill.
Eh, shit happens.
Mr. Antonio Rea was overstepping his bounds in my eyes, though. I could not stand there and willfully abide by what he was saying.
I don't know.
Perhaps Vale and I share a common flaw. We both need to learn our place a little bit more.
Is that what we're discussing? Is that thing that happened to Vale?
Yeah, we're just discussing.
No, something
whatever.
earlier than that.
Okay, sorry. Guess I hadn't heard about that one.
Leopold had been, as far as I understand, away from the Sept for a little bit, and his return caused a interesting interaction with, what was there, half dozen, almost 10 of us?
Yup. Long story short, Antonio overstepped his bounds. And I made no short words of my displeasure of it. And then, yes, I must reiterate, just so especially the Galliard here will remember this. I even admitted my faults of speaking out of turn against an elder to me, and prepared myself for punishment. But apparently, Alejandro, I keep wanting to do that. Sorry, Alejandro, if you're watching this. Apparently, Antonio didn't really wish to.
From what I know of Antonio, he's a pretty good soul, but he's very passionate.
He is Argentinian. He is a South American.
Ooh, that hot Latin blood. Yay.
I
I
think he
can't
just
tell if
needs
that was
to...
in character or not.
That was a little creepy. Slightly
Okay,
creepy.
fair
Yep,
enough.
yep. All the creepy.
I think Antonio needs...
Okay, now out of character. You're welcome.
Creepy.
I think Antonio needs to remember that he has more than he thinks he does. He doesn't just have material wealth. He has the respect and friendship of, from what I've seen, quite a few members of this Sept. And I think for a moment there he forgot that. And I think he needs to remember that.
Antonio needs to consider himself lucky he has that much.
I think the lesson that Antonio was trying to teach is a measure of humility to the Cleus and his younger rankings around him. The materialism he may have focused too much on.
I understand what he was going at. Don't make that no question. But his execution of such wisdom left something to be desired.
Leopold, may I make one little tiny suggestion to you for the future?
He narrows his eyes.
Next time you have to come back to a place for a weapon, ask for some bloody help.
When was the last time you saw somebody who needed help with one of these? And he just pulls up the picture on his phone of his baby. And do I need to screen share? Have we all seen my gun? We've all seen my gun,
We've seen
right?
the gun.
Yeah.
Not even once. Not even a little bit.
God damn it. All right. Give me a second. Continue to talk. I will bring it up.
It's okay. You don't have to.
Oh, no. I like to. I love seeing my baby.
And Joshua?
Yeah.
He was kind of chuckling, and it was an obvious, little amusing poke at you, not meant to be, overly serious, but
He caught it.
Yeah.
Leo is, unless he's drunk, Leo's not the most. Yeah, he's a JOD. All right. No, and yeah, this is my baby. It's a Serbian, the M93 Black Arrow. It has an effective range of like 1,200 yards, 1,300 yards, some craziness like that.
Dang.
I think it's even larger. And it
I
uses.
think it says 1,800 meters, isn't it?
Where is it?
Right
that
at
right
the end
there.
of the first. Yeah.
At large distance, up to 1,800 meters in all environments. I love that line, but it's Serbian and it's hilarious, and it uses. Hold on. Am I still screen sharing?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, see the big bullet here compared to all the other ones?
Yeah, that's not it, right?
Yeah, no, that's it. That's the round that weapon uses.
I was half expecting you to say, no, that's not it. It's actually bigger than that.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's it in comparison to like a lighter.
It's a 50 caliber round. They are
It's-
really freaking big.
It's the .50 BMG.
Yeah,
Big fella gun.
the next size up for round is literally the 20 caliber round, I believe.
Yeah, which is like it's technically fucking artillery at that point.
Yeah, the 20 the 20 is basically as much bigger to that than that is to the next one down.
Yeah, it's like after that you can't fire this being held anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, my sniper rifle is fucking ridiculous. But that's the picture that he shows you.
Yeah.
Well, you don't need much help when you fire one of these.
Don't they also cause a jet engine sound coming from your general direction when you fire them?
Not as much as you would think, and generally, what's on the other end? It's not going to matter if he hears it or not.
It's true, but you really got to watch out for those ninja cameras. Remember?
He does growl.
And that one was with a really firm chuckle. That was really intended to be a little fun with you on that one.
Two paths. I have a hard time getting a handle on you. Are you an Arun or a Philodox? Are you a Ragabash or a Fury? Are you a Get? What the hell are you?
I beat things up when I have to. I make jokes when I don't. It's how I balance my life. Otherwise, I'd go slightly insane.
They make pills for that now, I think.
I don't think they make guru pills for that.
Maybe they should. Sounds like something the Glasswalkers should be getting on.
I could use a guru pill.
Oh.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay. I don't know. Why not? Why would you?
You mean a pill to make yourself guru?
Yeah, of course. Anybody who knows her at all would guess she's not really being serious. She's just trying to see what people say when she says it.
Well, here you go. You're not resentful of your status in the nation, are you?
I am what I am.
You are not Popeye the Sailor Man.
I'm glad you noticed. I feel remarkably female, and I've never been really on a boat, so.
You live in New York and you've never been on a boat?
I'm from Colorado.
Ranger.
I'm from Colorado. I just moved here a few months ago.
You still have had to been on a boat by now.
No. Do you know? Yeah, Colorado. There's mountains, but.
And there's lakes.
Well, of course there are, but yeah, I never had a reason to be on a boat.
Okay. We need to get you on a boat. That's all there is to it.
So I
I'm
can be
sure.
Popeye the Sailor Woman?
Why not? Let's talk to Rowan. I bet you he will love to facilitate this adventure.
No, I was just wanting to see what you all would say. That's
Well,
all.
there it is.
I will say it kind of sucks being a kinfolk when I sit here and listen to people say things about my tribe, and she's not looking at anybody at this point, by the way. And I'm not supposed to say anything back.
I do have a friend that I could introduce you to, Leah.
Leo's looking at Leah with a raised eyebrow. He's not stupid.
Oh, it's pretty obvious what she's implying, but she's not saying it like in a really obvious. She's not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay. I take it back. It's obvious, but not deliberately rude.
It's okay. Hey, I just got my first out of empathy. I'm using this shit, goddammit.
Well, I mean, I can't. It's real obvious. So.
Please, all paramounts aside, if you have something to say, have carte blanche to proceed. I would love to hear what you have to say.
I mean, I could introduce you to my mother, old Teethbreaker.
I would have no problem meeting your mother. I know my sister, and I knew my mother, and I know my grandmother, who's an elder of our sept back home. I am not new to knowing Black Furies.
Let me ask you all this question. When's the last time that any one of you actually had a hunt?
A hunt?
I'm
Yes,
in the middle of one right now.
A much more simpler hunt. A hunt for prey. A hunt for prey while in lupus.
Most likely too long.
Gonna say never.
I wonder why. 3 months.
And Ren is quietly, inconspicuously silent. So silent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Oh, silent? I love it when Medices are silent. What about you, Moonface?
She shrugs. It's been a while. I've been very busy since my change.
A while, how... Wait. Your change was your birth. Have you never hunted?
Wait, what? Sorry, out of character.
Out of character, Métis are born werewolves. They know from day one what they are.
Yeah.
Right, but they also go through a change. Like, there's a point when they actually are able to change.
I'm being slanderous.
So
yeah.
he just, like, straight out just called her a metas, just straight there?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay.
But in not such direct terms. He wasn't really addressing you, more addressing the statement that you made. If that makes any sense.
I'm so sorry, I'm a little confused.
Yeah, don't worry. I confuse a lot of people. Especially myself. I don't know what's going on.
I think he
Was that a
confuses himself.
butterfly?
Hey, Joshua,
Yes.
watch out. I think I saw a squirrel behind you.
They're working in tandem now. The butterfly and the squirrel. Oh no. They know where I live!
Well, they are. The squirrels are after the nuts. So I mean.
Hey. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna pull the lever and get this right back on to track off of this tangent.
So out of character, will you say what you said again so I can?
Have you never been on a hunt?
She pulls a deep breath and she looks. She doesn't look him right in the eye. Her eyes kind of glance off his and land like just past his shoulder because she's not making it a dominance thing, but she's
Truth of God.
making sure that he knows that she's paying attention. She says, "No, I've not."
Well,
I like the general idea.
that is
Perhaps you all should go.
terrible. If nothing else, I think the Den Father would agree with me on this. Alan,
What?
this one's never hunted before.
And?
And? What do you mean, and?
She is Cleith. She gained that rank in another sept. It is not my business to interfere in other people's educations.
No, but it is definitely your business to help maintain the what am I saying here? The correct upbringing of the youth? And he smiles at that, and indeed,
I don't think it's necessarily required, but I think a hunt is a good thing to go on from time to time, no matter what rank you are.
This is true. This is true. At some point or another, go speak to Smiles in the Night. He is a red talon that took few of the cubs on to one of their first hunts, actually.
Ren almost falls off her seat when he says, "Go speak to Smiles in the Night."
Yeah.
She stands up to kind of cover it. It wasn't very graceful, but she stands up to cover it.
Two Paths would have actually offered his hand to her to help her up.
Without bandying words, I'm ill-equipped for a hunt.
Fair enough. You can be taught.
No.
what? Did
I've-
the mother not gift you with fangs and claws?
She looks at Leo's shoulder again, and she's like staring, like holes in Leo's shoulder.
Leah kind of looks at her shoulder and is like, I wonder what that's about.
There are some of us who go through our first change and still have very, very soft demeanors. I remember Emmett coming through and still being a vegan for the first few months of his existence in the nation.
Ugh. Vegans.
He also had a really ugly jacket.
Yeah.
Every day, thousands and thousands of plants are killed by vegans. We should stop the slaughter now.
Rin, I suggest you go talk to Emmett then about his transition from veganism to something a little bit more wholesome.
She pulls a deep breath and does not roll her eyes. But there's a moment of gathering herself. She says, "Thank you. I will talk to Emmett."
We need to
Nope.
get you on a hunt. That's all there is to it. I'm sorry. Go for it, Alan.
The point of the question was to simply draw the idea to a hunt in the wolf form, a hunt using the wolf heart rather than the human mind. It's a concept that the Red Talons and their philosophy go over time and time again. I know I speak of the Red Talons and I teach philosophy, but the two ideas are not totally different from each other.
And Leah, I do not believe you necessarily have to be left out. I'm sure we can find a way that you can you can participate too if you so wished. I'm sure there's a way.
Oh, I wouldn't want to hold you back. No
You
worries.
wouldn't. You
can
wouldn't.
drive.
I'm sure one
I
of us
can drive? Really? Let's see. Technically, I don't have a single dot in drive, so no.
I could teach you how to utilize my bike.
Awesome.
Sure, yeah, I'll drive you. That sounds like a great plan. As she kind of ponders which pedal you're supposed to push.
Maybe I can't teach her how to use the bike. She's thinking pedals.
I'm referring to us like if driving a manual. Thank you.
It's a motorcycle.
I was talking about a car because I hate to tell you this, but driving would be like involving putting a lot of people in there, and we don't all fit into a car or into a
Motorcycle.
bike. Yeah.
I don't think. I think you're thinking. I meant while we're chasing, you can ride on the back of. You can ride on the motorcycle. We get there our own individual ways, but it's a dirt bike. You can use it off road. It's actually made better for off road.
Thank you. I don't think it's the best plan. No offense meant. I have no problem with you all having your fun though.
Just didn't want you to feel left out.
I'm all right.
Anybody here try to take a trek through a swamp before?
Oh yeah,
I've
that
been-
is.
I've seen some marshes in my time.
Short
the
answer
mud.
is yes.
It's the mud that really sinks you down. There's never really any soil, any hard-packed soil that you can run across. It's not meant for wolves.
Mm.
But there was once a wolf pack that did have to hunt in a swamp, did have to trek that muddy water. It was a pack headed by Blood Rain, an Arun of the Red Talons. But this story is not necessarily about him. It is about one of the younger ones, one of the Cleas. A lupus Philodox by the name of Red Shadows. This Philodox was on this hunt for a very, very particular reason. Blood Rain was an elder Red Talon, an alpha of his sept, or at least an alpha of the Red Talons of that particular sept. And he saw that she needed more education on how the Red Talons viewed the litany. And so they set on this hunt. The hunt and the prey were within Blood Rain's human mind. He was in there. He used his wolf heart to spurn on this little pack, that of a Theurge himself, the Philodox Red Shadows, and a cub. A red talon cub who had just had his first change, who had not gotten himself acquainted with his human mind, who was still very much in the thrall of the wolf heart. That swamp was not meant for wolves. It was just not. In that swamp were creatures that hid underneath the water, ready to snap at wolves. In fact, Red Shadow remembered one of those instances, and as she ran in that pack during that hunt, that thought came to her mind, her human mind. Her wolf heart did not care. Her wolf heart was more concerned with continuing the hunt, because that was the issue at the moment. But her human mind thought about it, and it felt like a hurt. It felt like a hunger that she could not understand. She could understand other kinds of hunger, the hunger for food, the want to hunt. That she did understand, but the idea of one of her kin not being with her, that confused her just a tiny bit, but she continued and was spurred on. The hunt was for something very distinct. Blood Rain knew exactly where they were going, but did not tell the rest of the pack following. He was acting as alpha. He was acting with his wolf heart, spurring the others on with him. But there came to be a point during that hunt in the swamp, that they picked up a different scent. This scent was something of a wolf, but not of a wolf. It was not the bitter smell of a wolf marking its territory. No, it was much more tainted, to say the least. And they had to stop there, because several of the other wolves had also smelled this scent, and they knew that it was wrong. It knew that it was tainted. So they decided to diverge from their hunt. They had to think. Red Shadows had to convince the pack. using her knowledge of the litany to hunt and destroy the worm where it dwells and where it breeds, to convince her pack to leave the hunt momentarily and fulfill their portion of the litany. And they did. What they found was actually an oily smell, a worm smell, a machine and poison and grease and oil. It was what Red Shadow would know as a bulldozer. But on top of that bulldozer, around that bulldozer, surrounding that bulldozer, and the rest of the construction site were wrong things, were wolves. But not wolves that she knew as her cousins, no. These were wolves with black fur and green patches all over them. Red Shadow stayed behind with the cub to make sure that the cub was protected. There was no sense in risking the cub's life, even on a hunt like this, and the rest of the pack ran on ahead. But as they were fighting, as the blood began to fly and fill the air, something unnoticeable, something that had no scent, snuck up behind the entire pack and attacked Red Shadow. The cub, for its part, stood absolutely stock still, its wolf heart beating in its chest. And even Red Shadow's wolf heart beat within its chest, and he fought it. He fought the fox frenzy that gripped her, using her human mind just for a single second, and she attacked that tainted wolf, who was not even a wolf at that moment. There was nothing behind its visage, nothing behind its eyes, behind its snout. There was no wolf heart, there was no human mind, there was just simply pain and hunger there. It was not a wolf anymore, it was just a thing. And so Red Shadow dispatched it, grabbed a hold of its neck, and threw it against a tree trunk, bit down hard, and ripped through. It was the most nauseating, disgusting thing she had ever had to taste on her tongue. There was poison, there was oil, there was worm in that thing's blood. That wolf was tainted. But where had that taint come from? Where had it come from? Why was it there? Why was this wolf tainted? These things, these ideas came to Red Shadow, and she howled. I say she howled, but she didn't. She was still on the hunt. She knew better, but she whined. And when the rest of the pack came back, they too were filled with not necessarily questions, but they were filled with the conviction that the hunt that they were on now was needed. Blood Rain needed this to happen. This was part of the fight for Gaia. This hunt was a part of the fight for Gaia. But that did not stop Red Shadow. Red Shadow had something that she could not rightly explain with her wolf heart. Her wolf heart remained silent on many, many things that confused her since her first change. In her human mind, she felt a hunger again, a wish. Some would call a wish a hunger in the human mind, because it is something that is not satisfied, but desires to be satisfied. She wished she did not have to fight that wolf, because she knew that wolf was once not tainted. It used to be a free wolf. It used to prowl around the grand wilderness without a nary a care in the world, but something tainted it. The worm tainted it. The land was polluted and tainted. But what was the source? Blood Rain thought he knew. And so he led the pack on and on and on. They crossed the freeway, which was a scar against the land. It was rock, it was pavement, it was rubber, it was oil, it was poison. You could hunt the scar, but the prey that it yielded was tainted. by the very scar itself. The road went ahead and colored the meat, made it disgusting. Red Shadow remembered the first time she tried to eat from the scar and had to vomit it up. It was disgusting. Much like the tainted wolf, it was disgusting. But they eventually found what they were looking for. It was a domicile. It was a domicile and a waste management center, a waste management plant, a small one. It was manned by very, very few people. Blood Rain changed into his war form. Blood Rain was a warrior. He was an Arun. He was strong. He was fast. And when the first humans saw him, they were confronted by an old, old terror. An old terror within their human hearts. An old terror within their human hearts that their human mind could not comprehend or come to terms to, and they were easily slaughtered. After the humans were slayed, the thieves of their pack cleansed that area, cleansed the outhouses, cleansed the sewage treatment. Red Shadows saw it, saw the carnage that was there, and within her human mind, she went over the tenets of the litany. It did not find any of these actions against it. That pack cleansed the taint that had befallen the swamps, befallen the pond. They had cleansed the pollution that had seeped into the swamps, so that hopefully no more tainted wolves would find themselves there. I say this story, but this is not my story. This is a story that was given to me, and I hope that I have relayed it with every due respect and reverence that this story deserves.
And a fine story it is. I believe I agree with it. Nothing of the litany was rendered that day.
Agreed.
Ren applauds very quietly.
It's a story not so dissimilar from ones I've heard from my home province often. I come from the northern section of Alberta, nearish the, not too far away from the oil sands of northern Alberta.
And
And
Alan's
tar
going to go
sands.
ahead and take one willpower from Merlin and one willpower from himself. Go ahead and activate Mind Speech to Leah, and a small side one with the Philodox over there, Worm, the child of Gaia, the other child of Gaia, damn it. And the way this power works is if you do not resist, it automatically succeeds. But if you do wish to resist, I have to make a roll. Basically, what you feel at the back of your head is a simple prodding, a familiar prodding. If you've ever smelled Alan's jacket, or if you've ever interacted with him at any length at all, you'll probably hear his voice and you'll smell his scent. Do you allow this?
Allow it. No resistance.
And Leah?
Only because I've actually been through this whole mind speech thing before. Because that first time it was one hell of a shock.
Well, you get the voice of Alan inside your heads, and he simply says, "This is not my story."
Can I respond?
Yes, actually, you can respond quite mentally and silently.
Say then whose?
I respond, when I went to the Galliards outside the Sept, and I asked for stories to be told about the Red Talons, this is the one that they gave me.
Okay.
At that, my friends, I think I'm going to take my leave. As like I said, I am actually in the middle of a hunt myself. I'm only here at the SEP for a short time. Perhaps if it doesn't go as well as I planned, I may draw on some of you for aid, but as it stands right now, I think I'm doing pretty alright. Alan, thank you for the stories. They're outstanding. And he stands up at that.
Two Paths would jot down his phone number on a piece of paper and hand it over to you in case you need help.
Thank you.
Ren actually follows suit and offers him her phone number as well.
He just quickly throws him into his phone, especially for out of character. Like, they're in his phone now. Hooray!
Yay!
Good hunting, brother.
Thank you, Moonface. And good night to you as all.
Good evening.
And as it is Leo's oft, he exits to the south because he always enters and exits from the south for no apparent reason. And with that, I bail out. Bye, guys.
Night.
Bye.
Right.
Bye.
Ren is quiet till he's long out of earshot.
I am not sure what to say about him.
It's a hard path to walk.
We all have hard paths to walk.
You speak the truth.
At least he shared the beer.
This is true. He did share the beer. So props to the beer person. She holds her can up. Somebody has to do it when Travis isn't here.
So, Alan,
Mm-hmm.
we got any new information on anything coming out of that damned warehouse that's been bugging me since we were there?
Nope. I received no new information. I'm just gonna go ahead and sit on his little log, drink from his beer.
I'm wondering if we should send a small group just to surveil it and see if there's still activity there. Perhaps with no offense to the kinfolk, but perhaps without the kinfolk, so in case we do have to get into action.
I have a feeling that we could have gotten into action very quickly. And if we had to, I don't know, make an exit, we could have. There was a blackout period that we did have, but the Ryan action chose not to take it.
I don't disagree with his decision. I don't, like I said, don't particularly fully agree with it, but I didn't disagree with it enough to make a noise of it, if you know what I mean.
All I can say was it is heavy. Leadership is heavy. None know this more than Silverfangs. People can go ahead and rant and rage about the mistakes of the past. Oh, we should have done this. Oh, we ought to have done that. Why did you not know? It's much easier to look back at somebody else's faults than to actually evaluate things at the moment and predict problems in the future.
Agreed. But do you think we should perhaps send a small team to investigate if there's still activity there? Not enter, but just to see what's still going on there or not, and Perhaps report back afterwards and let the leadership decide.
Send a few spirits to watch over the place. That is what I suggest.
Sounds like a good idea. I can't do that. I cannot communicate with them yet. I'm working on that, but
I'm just gonna say something. I know there's at least one kid who actually is really into this whole particular subject, and I think if you try to push her out, she will get very angry.
Oh, I tried to sit Cinna on a stump while we were trying to do the operation. Didn't work.
I was just saying, how did that work for you? Because let's be real.
I'm sorry, Leah, but she almost ran right into that damned warehouse.
That's what she does. That doesn't mean she shouldn't be kept out in some ways, but at the same time, she's not one to just sit back and let you all do her work for her.
We did try to include her, but she went too far.
Ren was watching Leah while he was talking about leadership. Her eyes were focused on Leah, though if Leah looked up, she would have looked away again.
When we were talking about what?
Leadership, when Alan was talking about people criticizing the past mistakes of leadership,
Oh,
it was Leah she was watching.
interesting. Leah takes note of this. Just kind of looks at Ren and is, so, did you have a question for me?
No, but I think you're very observant. It's good to have observant people around. I think it's
better. It's better to be observant than to speak up too soon.
We knew there was individuals in there that were armed. The pack did not necessarily want to go in. She almost forced us to go in. She almost ran right into into a very bad situation that could have went badly for every single individual that was involved in that. I had to fight back everything in my soul not to rush into to free those two individuals, but I still had to hold my hand. She apparently could not.
I am not going to say that Senna is always wise, but she is always trying her damnedest to help those she thinks needs help.
She is impatient.
Mm-hmm.
I do not fault her for wanting to help. It's just it was not the right time.
You're a growl from Alan.
Okay, now what? You know what Senna's like. None of this is a shock to you.
I'm sorry, but those kinds of personality traits, they hurt more than you. Sometimes when you're out there on your own, you're trying to work with a group to get to point A to point B, and there's just one person that refuses to follow instructions. Okay.
On the other hand, she is trying to make the biggest difference she can in what time she has. I respect her immensely for that.
Alan, to be fair,
No. It's fine for her to try to make a difference. That's fantastic. But when a whole busload of people just gets caught up in immigration services because one girl decides that she wants to go back for a baby's doll, and they go all the way back to the wormish hell that is Mexico, something has gone wrong.
so
Maybe you should
what?
talk to her about this then.
I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, I love that she's outspoken. I don't think she's wise in how she handles problems like Red Talons, but she's still learning.
To be fair to her, I think every single person that was on that mission could understand wanting to run into that warehouse, but it was not the right decision.
I don't care. With one voice, she says she wants to learn, that she's ignorant, that she needs to be taught. And on the other hand, she continues to rush into situations that are very dangerous.
Unfortunately, kinfolk never get to be cubs.
Except in this case, she kind of is the cub. She only just learned what she was, what, a month ago?
Then it is then it is her tribe's duty to educate her.
Fair enough. The only reason I know how to react in certain situations, although I admit I kind of skirted along a bit there a minute ago, but is because I was taught. So who wants to inform the Silverfangs they need to teach her?
I could get somebody to do my dirty work like that.
I've been trying to teach her what I can, but I can't be around her all the time. And most of what I was able to tell her recently was more about kinfolk guru sort of relations, if you know what I mean. Where we fit into things. On the other hand, she's had a hell of an interesting night the night before. Woo!
What happened?
Something to do with Drunken Twister?
That'll do it.
Yeah.
In Rin's mind and in Leah's mind, there's currently a very, very mock of two mannequins playing Twister.
Ren stands up and tries to walk away from the fire a little bit. Like
Leah
that.
just starts giggling. She just starts giggling to herself, like there's no reason for it that two Pats can see. She just starts giggling.
He's just shaking his head, thinking you two have just gone nuts.
Inside both their heads, you will hear the voice Valen saying, blessings of Gaia. Nifty, right?
Leah, I'm curious what you told her about Guru kinfolk relations.
Is this out loud?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Just changing the subject. Oh, so fast. You don't have to.
No, I just explained to her. I tried to be fair. I wasn't trying to give her the skewed version of anything. Just that tribes tend to treat their kin differently. Some good, some very bad, and that there are certain expectations of us. And I told her about a certain situation that's happened recently with a kin of ours that was in an arranged marriage who failed at it, let's say, and what her punishment was.
Inside both of your heads, you have a level, and on one side it is duty, and the other side there is age, and duty outweighs age.
And
Ren is. Sorry.
no, and I explained to her how we have to learn to deal with certain types of people, like Red Talons, who pretty much hate us for no fucking reason, and and stuff like that. Just that little stuff that she would have known just by growing up, if she'd grown up in a sept.
She probably would have been a very different person if she'd grown up in a sept. It's hard to tell someone that the fight is not their fight when they're when they feel they've been born to fight.
Oh, I think she was born to fight. It might be a little sad she didn't breed true.
Ren sits back down and looks uncomfortable. It's important, I think, that we all find our ways to fight. I hope someone tells her that. And I hope if she goes hunting again, that her leader understands that.
Her fighting doesn't seem to be very physical at this point, if you know what I mean. It's not that kind of fighting.
Does she know that?
I think she does.
Hmm.
I think she realizes that. She's been taken down at least once that I know of. Twice. Twice, actually. Maybe more that I've forgotten, for God's sake. That woman, I'm telling you. So I think she's realized that she's not really up to most Guru in terms of her physical prowess, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think she's figured that out. It just takes her a while to learn stuff.
That's what I meant about kinfolk never getting to be cubs. There's no tradition for teaching kinfolk how to learn things. With a Guru, you beat the shit out of it and it heals. With a kinfolk, you beat
You
the
hope
shit out of
there's
it and it breaks.
Yeah, but you know, we have our other strengths.
No, of course. And she suddenly looks a little bit alarmed, like she was definitely trying not to offend.
It doesn't sound offended. It was more of a statement. For one thing, we certainly fit in better. Like in normal society.
Absolutely. We would be crippled without our kinfolk, even if we could bear our own children.
Oh, you can. It's just not really suggested.
Now she looks uncomfortable again. Super uncomfortable.
Leah just sort of grins at that. I'm just gonna mention here for like the 1000th time, 0 in etiquette. All the awkward mentions of that. Also, for the record, Leah doesn't even like the idea of Metis, which is what obviously what just came up, doesn't seem to discomfort her.
Noted. Definitely discomforts Moonface.
I don't know. The thing is that as a whole, and not necessarily by everybody, but we aren't necessarily seen as, I guess, full citizens of.
The nation?
Yeah. And when I mentioned something like that to her, her response is, well, then we should fight for it. And I'm just like, well, you know, you can try.
You wouldn't be the first to fight for it, even among the Garu. The Garu don't have any full citizens of the nation. We're not a nation of equals.
Nope.
We're a nation of warriors. It's hard to deal with as an American. Or two paths, a Canadian. I've never met a Black Fairy kinfolk before.
Interesting.
You'll meet plenty of them if you stay in this sept.
I'm excited too.
Oh, and so many of them are connected to me. God.
In Leah's brain, there will be a web with her portrait in the center and various other kinfolk all around it. Dr. Mega and all the Picasso family as well. Callie's in the middle of it somewhere, entangled in the webs. And this
She's like
little
wrapped.
dwarf
She's wrapped up in webs. I swear, when I made this character, she only had like 1.5 family members. I swear.
Distant cousins.
None of them are actually blood. Thank you, except for Callie, and she is not a kinfolk. Leah will just while she's kind of grimacing at the look at the thing in her brain. So she's making this look that doesn't quite make sense. Although I'm guessing that Ren can probably make a good guess what's happening. Something weird. And she's like, "Well, my sister's dad is here. He's a doctor. And my sister's fiance is here." And he has his dad and his sister and his cousin who all live with him. So that's pretty much my, I guess you could say, family, except that I'm not actually related to any of them except for the actual Fury Guru.
Yeah, I'm not aware of any direct relations to anybody in this region.
I guess the only relations that I had in this sept are about to be leaving.
Leaving?
Yeah, the Stewarts are going to be gone now.
I don't think I've met them.
Do you mean Blitz?
Yep.
I didn't know he was leaving, but that doesn't surprise me.
It's a distant relation.
God, distant cousins again?
I'll say this much. His family was kind enough to offer me a last name. And inside of Leah's brain, she'll be taken back to that day with the chemical shower and Xavier quite comatose
Mm-hmm.
and their conversation there.
Yes.
There you go.
We can skip the chemical shower part of that scenario. That was bad enough. Having to bathe Xavier while he's comatose. Genius.
But that confession towards the end of it, Alan's confession to you,
I don't know. I'm trying to remember specifically what it was.
pretty much asked him, "Is this your name?"
Oh, that thing. Yeah. She knew that. She remembers. Trust me, she's never forgotten. Anyway. She's been so tempted to get into your brain just because. She's hoping you'll say your real name in your dreams. Right. Yeah.
So
Is Blitz going to Germany? Or is he just leaving?
Don't know quite yet. Don't know.
You can't blame him for wanting a new scenery, I guess you could say. And Lee's actually going to go back to Alan in his head and just be like, you still need to tell me that, you know?
Not yet. That
Fine,
man is
whatever.
dead.
The what's dead?
Inside of Leah's head, that man is dead right now.
Nope. He's standing right there. He is
Big
part
smile.
of you.
Big smile comes across Alan's face that seems out of place.
It doesn't matter. She's responding the way she wants to.
Ren glances at Two Paths, because now there's an uncomfortable silence in the real world.
Two Paths got kind of a silly grin on his face because he's thinking of a trick he was going to pull on Travis.
Ren stands up and...
I'm just saying, all the inappropriate facial expressions going on around here.
Ren stands up and kind of dusts herself off and says, I should be getting to bed. Thank you for the story. And thank you for standing up for me.
Who did what now? I barely even noticed.
Thanks.
Have a good
Hey.
evening.
Hey, Ren.
Yeah.
Can I get your number? Because I kind of
Yeah.
think it might be fun to hang out sometime.
No, I'd love it. That'd be great. And she grabs her phone, writes down a piece of paper, writes down her number, hands it to Leah.
Thanks. She'll
Yeah.
put it in her phone and flip it over, write her number down, and pass it back.
And if you ever need a Philodox, call me. I live close.
So much cheaper than a lawyer.
Those are usually only needed by Leopold.
She does not want to cross Leopold, and she's not even sure she wants to laugh at that joke, but she kind of makes like a face.
You have a good evening.
You too. Take care. And she
Have a
heads
good
out.
Have a good evening, Ren.
Take care.
You too.
I like her.
Yeah. It's nice to see a friendly face like that. Been a while since I've actually seen a child of Gaia-Garu. Missed that awfully much.
Me too. Oh, wait, I see one most of the time. Or at least a lot of the time. She looks at him.
Well, the only opportunity I get to see that motherfucker is in a mirror.
He's a terrible person. Nobody really likes him. It's really for the best.
I know. It really is.
Ugh.
Leah, you get your stuff moved or anything?
Yes. Yeah, she's clearly a little irritated by that whole thing still.
Mm-hmm.
I miss my own space already. No offense. Oh, I forgot to tell you. I ran into Bright Eyes this afternoon.
Hatter?
Hatter! I totally ran into Hatter. He was chasing off animal control of all stupid ass things in an
Why
alley.
was he doing that?
I'm guessing he must have come into the alley in a different form and somebody saw, is my guess. But he took care of it.
How did he take care of it?
Well, pretty much looks like a homeless man. I mean, he's a bonar. And he's crazy, so all he had to do was act like a crazy vagabond.
Fair enough, that works for him. Not my problem.
He is insane. And he's awesome.
Insane in the membrane.
You know, the only reason I say Bright Eyes is because, well, I didn't think that you actually thought of him the way I thought of him.
What? I have some sort of prejudice against the Garu?
What? So some of the way I say header.
Oh, okay,
It's
fair
not
enough.
actually his name. It's
Oh,
just
okay. I thought you were, like, telling me that I had some prejudice against the Garu, and I was like, I don't have anything against him.
I do. I am so prejudiced.
So prejudiced. I mean, he's such a good Garu. It boils your stomach.
Boils my stomach.
It
Brilliant.
Haggis.
it breaks your brain pan. It splits your eyeballs.
No. I'm pretty sure that's what Hatter does with his absurd brain.
We're not saying these things anymore. These aren't actual phrases. Okay, fair enough. I'll just walk over there now and very dejectedly, exaggerately dejectedly, Alan goes
Fine.
ahead and
Save
hangs
him.
his head and kicks at the dust, walks away from the fire that's starting to die.
Would reach
Ugh.
over, grab a log, and toss it onto the fire.
Leah's actually going to roll her eyes in a very obvious fashion to Two Paths, who is like across from her, can see this.
So both her eyes roll so hard they fall out of the head and roll across the campfire and.
Yeah, you better
around a
get
few.
you better get Mother's touch right now.
The eyes will go ahead and start to roll off from the campfire, off into the darkness, where Alan goes ahead and kicks it.
And I'm gonna become a Cappadocian so that I can use those little squishy eyeballs to spy on people.
Hey, Alan.
Yep.
I want to learn something.
Okay, what do you want to learn?
Actually, technically, I want to learn two things, but
One of them's
thing-
Greek, right? Because I got your back on Greek.
no, actually, I want to learn to speak to spirits. That's the first thing I want to learn. I'm not sure if you're capable of helping me with that or not, but I'm pretty sure that you could probably help me with the second one. But the first one is the first thing I'm aiming at, which is spirit speech.
Hmm?
So I was wondering if you could help me, introduce me to a spirit that could do that or such.
Try to grab me one of these days. Try to grab me one of these days, because there's a fountain spirit that actually is very good teacher, and her cost of admission is just simply a song.
I think we want to keep the spirits around the sept. If I start singing, I think we'll scare them all away.
Fair enough. We'll have to think of something else from you.
I am not a good singer. I'm completely honest, and I kind of sound like a cat getting tortured while running its claws against a chalkboard.
Fair enough. What was your next thing that you needed to learn?
I'd also like to learn, because I'm already capable of healing grievous injuries to myself. Through through the gifts that my mother introduced me to. I'd like to be able to do that to others, though. I believe it's called Mother's Touch.
Oh. Okay, well, there are a few spirits that I know that teach such a gift. You may need to do them a bit of a favor, but
Favors for
seeing as
spirits is not something I'm against doing, so.
okay, fair enough. Sort of judging what you are, you will probably be sent to hunt something or kill something. Actually, with a dove spirit, which would teach you Mother's Touch, they might not like that. So that one might be a little bit more difficult.
I'm willing to expand on my horizons a little bit, at least to help to get help to do this. So.
Fair enough. The night does go long, so here I'll have to bid you a good evening. Leah, get going.
Yeah, sure. Let's go to my new home.
Good evening to you both. And thank you for considering the request, Alan.
Fair enough. There we can end the scene quite plainly with Alan and Leah walking away from the campfire, and leaving Two Path to do a very, very small thing if she so wish with the last part of the scene, the 30 seconds of So What.
Sure.